beep, 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 beep. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. It's another glorious day today, by the look of it. Fingers crossed and all that. Luncheon, one feels. Now, here we go, right? In the ongoing rumbling battle about the EHRC, there's an interesting turn-up for the books that was pointed out to me by Dennis of the Kavanagh, who is been tweeting about it, right? Go and have a look on his Twitter, right? He's been tweeting about it. This is weird, okay? Weird. So there's a new article in the Telegraph, link is in the Dubras as usual. The Telegraph is saying, Victorious Equality Chief says we need to say less and do more. Equality Watchdog pauses investigation into its chair, Baroness Faulkner, in what her allies said was a victory for the board over Blob. Blob. Now, for those that don't know, the Blob is described as this sort of cabal of civil servants and ne'er-do-wells, probably many of them social justice warriors, if not lunatic leftists, right? That's what it would be. The head of the Equalities Watchdog said she wants the body to say less and do more after she faced a coup from civil servants. An investigation into Baroness Faulkner of Margravine's work. Baroness Faulkner of Margravine's work as the Equalities and Human Rights Commission chairman, which has been condemned by Ireland as spurious, was suspended on Friday following a backlash from 54 peers and outcry across the political spectrum. This is like digging, it's like archaeology. So you dig something and you find something and then you get a little hump and you think, what the hell is that? This is the hump. Keep digging, folks, right? Officials had filed a dossier of 40 complaints alleging bullying, discrimination, harassment and a lack of psychological safety, targeted at both the 68-year-old and her board of 12 expert commissioners who have powers in statute to make all its policy decisions on equality law. After the suspension of investigation was announced, Baroness Faulkner released a statement defending her plans for the EHRC to stand up for the public interest by moving the regulator from simply a source of policy and advice giving towards a sharper focus on actual delivery. She said the organisation has been going through a transformation programme to turn it from a source of policy and advice, giving across a wide range of subjects, to a sharper focus on actual delivery, to say less and to do more. She thanked the public for having shared your experiences of unfairness and injustice, which are humbling. The complaints began when the EHRC pivoted to settle the transgender debate, since Lady Faulkner took charge, including by taking gender-critical views into account, which has infuriated trans activists. I do like an infuriated trans activist. They should be on display somewhere. You know, in a museum, you press the little button with your earphones on. This is an infuriated trans rights activist. Notice the blue hair and the nose ring. You'll also notice that it jumps about a lot, shouts and screams and whistles. Right. Next in our display, a mad critical race theorist. A museum of social justice, because that's where you'll belong in the next few years. We're going to get rid of you. Now, this advice that she gave was to make clear reference to what biological sex is. This included Lady Faulkner advising ministers earlier this year to update the definition of sex in the 2010 Equality Act to make clear that it refers to biological sex, not any self-ascribed identity. That I've spoken about before. There's a little bit of confusion around that for me. I'm trying to get my head around it. I'm trying to understand exactly where I stand with that and also where everybody else should. But the most important thing is that there should not be in any format whatsoever such a thing as legal sex. It absolutely must not exist. Must not exist. On Friday, the EHR paused the investigation it began in February, led by Gavin Mansfield KC, an employment barrister, while we seek legal advice on the impact of leaked confidential information, adding in a statement, we must ensure its integrity and that it is fair to all parties concerned. I don't think it should be happening at all, but I've said that before. Right, a victory of the board over the blob, right? Clearly, there has been a concerted attempt to blame poor staff satisfaction and poor staff retention on the policy decisions of the board. They're doing a turnaround, right? I've done dozens of them in my time with organisations far bigger than EHRC, and I can tell you now that in a turnaround, the reason you're doing it is because of the staff. Inevitably, right? When you've got to change direction completely, it's because you've got yourself mired down with a bunch of nutters. And that's what's happened here. So I would not be, I would be the opposite. I'd be saying, if the noble Baroness was doing her job properly, we would expect to see a rise in staff leaving. And if we didn't see a rise in staff leaving, she wouldn't be doing her job properly. We're seeing a rise in staff leaving. She's doing her job properly. Get them out! Off, you poodle! You nutters! Right? And then, clearly there's been concerted effort. Here's the kicker. Here's the interesting bit. It's just tragic. There was an elite group of EHRC people who got together to arrange how they would get rid of her and referred to themselves as Gold Command. They came to a consensus view that the only way forward was to get Silk to do an investigation and give the Silk all the evidence he would need to find her guilty. This is the Stasi. Get it? Gold Command. The dossier, which was said to contain 40 allegedly vague allegations, bemoaned a lack of psychological safety. Right? The fear of who will be attacked next, and staff were worried that the commission is becoming an unsafe place to work. I've never heard so much rubbish in my born days. Stick him on a bloody oil rig. You want to know what unsafe is? Go be a fireman. Right? You want to know what unsafe is? Go be a social worker. Psychological safety, you absolute bunch of muppets. I've had it with this bullshit. Another took issue with Baroness Faulkner allegedly referring to a trans quiz show contestant as a bloke in lipstick in a board meeting, which her allies had said was taken out of context. She was describing what somebody else had said and the fact that she didn't think it was a good thing. That's what I imagine was happening. I don't see a problem with that. Was it a bloke in a lipstick? It's like saying this is an orange. How dare you? That is an orange, but how dare you? You can't know. Don't you dare call an orange an orange. You see? Not happening. All right? Okay, not happening. So the peers have all gone together and gone, we're having none of this. Let's see what's going on. Let's cause some kerfuffle. Get these people to look at what they're doing. Right? So there's more to it. It's in the article. You can see it in the doobries, as they say, right? So you can see it in the article. So I suggest going and having a read. But let's do an interesting little thing that we can do together. Open your browser, right? Open your browser. And in your search box, put in speech marks, Gold Command, okay? And then followed by the letters NHS. Go do it, right? Then do Gold Command, Nancy Kelly, see if anything comes up. Then do Gold Command, Mermaids, see if anything comes up. Gold Command, Stonewall. Gold Command, whatever word you want to put in, right? And see if you can find where else this term Gold Command is used or where else there is a Gold Command. That's an interesting thing to do. Right? It doesn't mean anything. You know, correlation is not causation. It doesn't mean anything. But it's the language. It's the language. Right? It's the language. Okay? Now, I've already said, and I'll say it again, just to make it clear, I think the NHS is a socialist state in its own right and needs dealing with. Right? I think it's being run by a bunch of nutters. Right? That's what I think's going on. I think we've got people right at the top pushing this trans nonsense who've been doing it for a very long time. And it's time we dug those particular worms from their particular holes. Right? And then you see it elsewhere. You'll see it come up. Gold Command comes up in the police as well. Go and have a look. What does it mean? Where does it come from? What are the origins of it? What is its nature? Why have they chosen it? Who's in it? I want to know who's a member of Gold Command at the EHRC. If that's what it is. If that's what it is. Go do it. Tell me what you find. Right? Put it on Twitter. Go on Twitter, tag me in and say, Gold Command. So I searched Gold Command with, Caterpillar, and I found this. Gold Command NHS, Gold Command Civil Service. Go and have a go. Do it, just as a thought experiment. I'll see you later. Bye.